is a spiritual deity. Freedom and liberty and justice shall fight for you. When you fight for freedom with all your soul, take it from me. This is Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, BCB, the voice of the nation, the voice.
And here is a special announcement from the leadership of Biafra government in exile. This is BCB.
My fellow Biafrans, in this first broadcast, this new year 2023, I would like to remind us about who we are. But before I go on, I would like to inform you that BGIE will be making a more elaborate State of the Nation broadcast on the 15th of January 2023 to coincide with the day the genocidal war ended. The day we remember that all hostilities ceased and Biafra survived as a nation. Even though the enemy still occupied the land and our government moved into exile, Biafra still lived on because its people and its land and its territory still exists. We are a great people, made by God himself, by Chukwu Okike, the God of creation, the creator of heaven and earth. We are spread out to all the corners of the earth. We bring our talent, our ingenuity everywhere we go, anywhere we find ourselves, in the academia, in science, in technology, in medicine, in corporate life, in sports, in the humanities, and many more. The first shot was fired at Gakem on 1st July 1967, and the invasion started on 3 fronts on the Biafran northern borders. The stage was set for something extraordinary. Bravery, invention, humanity, greatness, innovation of all sorts surprised the enemy and the entire world. How can this small nation withstand a massive army backed by the British army and weapons and the Russian army and weapons? But they survived. They improvised. The scientists, the students came up with creations, with creativity that sustained them, the civil population and the troops. We are proud of them. It was always certain that if the injustices and the inequalities and marginalizations and the killings, the pogroms that were the root causes of the war continued post-war, the struggle for freedom is bound to reemerge. And so it has today. And there are so many Biafrans today who are on the side of history, who are on the side of freedom, who want to see a new nation of greatness, of development, of innovation, with the power of the mind and the brain, with unity, determination, self-belief, courage, and patience, believing that God will lead us through. We will arrive at our destination, an independent state of Biafra, in a non-violent way, but intellectually driven, applying diplomatic, legal, and democratic principles. Biafra self-determination is a matter of when and not if. We are peaceful. We are a friendly people. We love life and we try to live life to the full. We cherish human interaction. We respect everyone regardless of gender, color, creed, or faith. We respect the sanctity of human life. We believe that blood is sacred. It's life. It's God's power of creation. We do not kill or shed the blood of even strangers in our land. And we do not shed the blood of our own people. A Biafran does not kill a Biafran. Short and simple. Onsala, it is a desecration of the land. But we are strong, and we are able to defend and protect our land against external enemies. And sometimes we will be prepared to defend the land against the enemy within. So why then are we killing each other in the name of Biafra restoration? In the name of freedom, why do we take the life of another? Biafra restoration is never about violence in any shape or form. The agitation for the restoration of the independent state of Biafra is a sacred task for all those who believe in a free nation. It must be done peacefully and with respect for the rights of those who do not share our views. I am a strong believer that Biafra must exit from Nigeria, because being part of Nigeria has denied us, millions of Biafrans, opportunities to excel and reach our full potential in our own land without going to foreign lands. Millions of us have faced marginalization in Nigeria, be it in the military, their quota system when you want to join. Even when you join, you're suppressed, you cannot rise. Your mates who are from the north or from the west move up before you. And in many other public service areas, in parastatals, in the customs, in the police, you see deliberate attempts to hold us back. Our businesses have struggled due to lack of seaports. Non-operational seaports in Calabar, in Port Harcourt, in Onitsha. No investment in our waterways, in airports, in rail lines. No investment in power and roads. The very factors that aid production and the creation of wealth. That is why in New Biafra, the economic program of the 1960s under Emma Yokbara will be aggressively renewed and pursued. Innovation, industrialization, and information technology will be unleashed to ensure that all our youths are engaged meaningfully. And they can build a great nation for themselves, a great environment, fulfilling life for themselves in the right and conducive, safe environment they'll be proud of. In the 60s, Eastern Nigeria, Biafra land was growing faster than any Asian tiger nation. And we can do it again. All our people in foreign lands will be protected. Your nation will stand up for you. Whether you're seeking asylum, you're seeking refuge, you're looking for work, you're being marginalized or mistreated in any part of this earth, we will come for you. And no one of you will be left behind. None will have any need to seek refuge or asylum under unimaginable circumstances in foreign lands. Never again. God has blessed us. God has blessed Biafra, and all her children must be testament to that blessing in our lifetime. In this first month of the year 2023, we, the indigenous peoples and nation of Biafra, appeal to all governments all over the world, all peoples, nations, states, all organizations, individuals worldwide to support the long persecuted peoples of Biafra in our demand for a referendum, for a plebiscite to settle our long-standing struggle for freedom, liberty, and self-determination. And once again, I want to speak directly to any group who claim that they are fighting for Biafra freedom, and yet you are doing things that will put your own brothers and sisters in jeopardy, in difficulty. You are raising your gun or your knife on your own people in any guise. Under no circumstances should these continue. Our efforts should be channeled to aggressive negotiations, aggressive campaign to put our case forward, for the world to know and for us to continuously remind them of the problems and the marginalization and the suffering we face under Nigerians' occupation. And then to organize ourselves into a formidable unit of self-defense against terrorists, kidnappers, and all people who commit crime against us and who want to take over our land. Self-defense is legal because it's only a tree that you threaten to kill or to cut down and it will stay there. A human being will seek protection, will find a way to defend himself or herself. This exercise of self-determination is a direct expression of the will of the people of Biafra. It is an ongoing process that began in 1966 after the genocidal war and the waves of pogrom, an ethnic cleansing exercise directed against us, against all the peoples of Eastern Nigeria at the time, culminating in the declaration of the sovereign state of Biafra in 1967. Since 1970, Biafra has tried acquiescence to accommodate and to be accommodated by Nigeria in the illusory thinking that this would bring reprieve from Nigeria's harsh treatment and persecution and maintain peace. However, Nigeria remained relentless in its vindictive policies against the people of Biafra and in its total suppression and denial of the basic human rights of Biafrans. This is in spite of the fact that Biafrans tried harder than any other group to integrate themselves into the Nigerian citizenry and polity, but all to no avail. In response to this ongoing dehumanization and rejection of Biafrans by Nigeria, even as we see it play out in this democratic dispensation, several non-violent self-determination movements for Biafra actualization have emerged. The distinguishing characteristic of these organizations is the strict adherence to non-violence. And that is why I call on those who are violating this principle to stop now, so that we can carry on in the tradition of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. These movements have sought dialogue with the Nigerian government, but have instead been answered with unjustified detention and jailing without charge. Masob started with non-violence, and many others that followed with non-violence. Agitations and protests in a peaceful fashion we are met by harsh, unjustified treatment by the Nigerian security forces. The people of Biafra have had enough, and all the pro-Biafra movement in the entire population of Biafra will continue in their resolve to re-establish the sovereign independent Republic of Biafra. Biafra has almost 60 years suffered incessant and unrelenting oppression. Biafra for almost 50 years have suffered incessant and unrelenting oppression, exploitation, humiliation, dehumanization, and genocide at the hand of Nigeria in a calculated and deliberate agenda to subjugate the people and obliterate their culture permanently and perpetually. Self-determination, therefore, in any form, is a right recognized by and accepted in international and many other national and regional instruments. We are a different people. Unfortunately, the amalgamation of 1914 put together people who have various different cultures and traditions, who hitherto did not live together, but cooperated, traded, and understood each other. Biafra has a population of over 60 million people and a common historical tradition dating to time prior to European colonization. A racial and ethnic identity well distinguishable from the rest of Nigeria. Cultural homogeneity which distinguishes its people apart from the rest of Nigeria. Linguistic unity with several languages and lingua franca. Religious affinity, the dominant religion being Christianity. Ideological affinity. Distinct, contiguous territoriality and a common socio-political and economic life. So Biafra is distinctly different from the rest of Nigeria, and all the ethnic nationalities within Biafra share these core values and similarities. In addition, the population naturally sees and considers itself as a people bound by common ancestry, socio-political ties, and destiny. Hence, the people exhibit the will and consciousness of being a people. In the new Biafra we are talking about, government will be based on the principles of freedom, liberty, justice, security, prosperity, and the legitimate pursuit of happiness. In Biafra, government belongs to the people. In Biafra, every town, autonomous community, and city will have its own police force to protect the people. The police will be recruited from among the residents of the community, town, or city. In Biafra, every community will exercise full control over the resources in its territory. Mineral deposits, cash crops, water resources, and intellectual resources. The concept of revenue sharing or revenue allocation will be in the distant past. Like I have said many times, a call for referendum is never a call for war. It is a civilized political means of settling political problems. There are precedents everywhere. The British conducted a referendum to exit from the European Union. There was a referendum in the midwestern part of Nigeria. There was a referendum for southern Cameroon to decide to belong to Cameroon and not to Nigeria. In many other places. So when we ask for the opportunity for our people to decide in a vote, where they want to belong. We are not calling for war. We are calling for a peaceful means to resolve a political issue. And that is a fair deal. And we hope that in future, as Nigeria elects its new government this year, that government will have the sense of decency, of duty, to engage with pro-Biafra elements, to engage with Biafra institutions, to find a common ground and to agree on a date as we reach a comprehensive peace agreement and a date for a referendum. And so this year, it is my hope and prayer that all forms of violence associated with this struggle, this noble and holy struggle, will cease. Every Biafran, whether you believe in a free nation of Biafra or you still have hope in Nigeria, we still remain brothers and sisters. And you are well within your right to belong any side of the divide you wish to belong to. But we have to respect the fact that each of us have that right to pursue their ideas and to pursue what they believe will bring joy and happiness and development and security to them. For me, that is a nation of Biafra. For another, it may be a restructured Nigeria, but we have to have the debate in a secure and safe environment. We have to give the opportunity for people to decide themselves, to vote on which direction they want to follow. Nigeria must stop to unleash violence using the military, the DSS, the police against innocent and peaceful agitators and those who believe in Biafra. They have not committed any crime. So this new year, I call on Nigerian government to release all Biafra detainees, to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu without further delay. The courts in Nigeria have set him free. And Muhammad Buhari-led government unilaterally breaking the law, disobeying court orders, have kept him in illegal detention, having illegally abducted him from Kenya. This is flagrant disregard of international law and again blatantly disregarding your own local court's orders and judgment. This is a travesty. The world must rise up and make Nigeria do the right thing. Release every detainee of Biafra descent and the leader of IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. I pray that this year brings you joy, peace, and happiness. I pray that the agitation will continue in a very strong momentum, in peace and in the right process. The government in exile will continue to provide strategies and structures through which we will engage with the international community and through which we will open negotiations and discussions even with Nigeria government. And to put our points across. And for everyone to understand that in the final analysis, Biafrans deserve to have their day in the polls. May God bless you all and bless our nation Biafra, and may this year bring us closer to our freedom and liberty.
This is the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, BCB.
I welcome you to this
wonderful segment on security in our darling station, BCB. First and foremost, I thank our Chi, the God of our creation, for seeing us through this period of festivities. I know that many of you went home and many also observed the spate of insecurity in our southeast vis-a-vis Alibo. I want us to talk about some of the anomalies that has cropped up in the quest for our freedom as a nation and as our people. First and foremost, we must try to avoid the situation whereby those who ought to sympathize with us will now stand against us. Because the insecurity that have been brought down to Alibo in general has become a thing of doubt, at the same time a thing of worry. A situation where instead of pursuing the enemy, we are shooting at our feet. It's uncalled for. We indeed, as a nation, has a purpose. We as a nation aspiring to become independent, we have a purpose to fulfill. Recently, something happened, and this is one of the reasons we need to talk about this for our people to know. When we keep on coming on social media to reveal our secrets to our enemies, then we are playing into the hand of that same enemy. We are not supposed to be fighting ourselves. Rather, we are supposed to be securing ourselves. A young woman, Lieutenant Johnson, recently was abducted. And we listened to know exactly what she did. We didn't hear that she attacked any of our people. We didn't hear that she was among those who came to attack our people. We only heard that her crime was working for the Nigerian government as a military officer. And my people, this is uncalled for. I am speaking as a security expert. I am speaking as an authority in the field of military. I'm also speaking as an elder, a stakeholder in this noble quest and noble journey to redeem our self-image as a nation. This is uncalled for. If our own, being a sister, was found to be in the supposedly enemy's camp, working for them, it is because she wants to eke out a living for herself, a living in this turbulent country where everyone has become so confused. Why don't those our boys go after the real enemy? Stripping our own sister naked. Probably she must have been molested sexually and now paraded, and even to the point of everybody hearing that they will kill her and use her head to do charms and put her skull on the shrine. This sort of acts has brought shame and debasement onto this noble cause that we are fighting for. I stand here to advise our people to do the needful, to reorganize themselves, community by community, unit by unit, section by section, and form a formidable security defense team that will squarely go after the enemy in the format of the great Ekumeku warriors. The Ekumeku warrior and the Ekumeku spirit was only after the real enemy. All this while, each time an order is given by whoever is giving such odious order, and we end up seeing our own people being caught captive and made to bear the brunt. Don't we think that the enemy is also laughing at us? Don't you think that the enemy is having a field day ridiculing us and our intent? That is why we are here to educate our people what security is all about. Security is all about defending your territory, protecting and preserving the lives of the citizenry, not killing them, not using them as a scapegoat, not using them as an angle to pour out your frustration when you couldn't go to fight the real enemy. It will be wise that our elders will stand to the trials of the present time and tell it to face those who are sending these boys on a suicide mission. Just like our sister, the lieutenant, was rescued abruptly because there were tracts showing their incompetency, showing their foolishness over their naive ignorance of what real security is all about. I believe that many watched the video and saw how these boys were ranting out. If you know that you don't have the availability of wherewithal to fight a cause, why disgrace yourself by making such an odious voice note over that video? Now they have been caught. Do we really think that they will be left alone? They will be wasted. And when our youths and our boys are being wasted in such a manner due to a wrong orientation, don't we see the handwriting on the wall? How many of our youths are being wasted, killed, and murdered because someone somewhere, out of frustration and ignorance of the workings of the military, gave an order to ill-equipped, intelligent lacking street boys whose only authority and modus operandi is the rifle they hold in their hand. Apart from that, no tactical military training at all. Ndibo, it is time for us to ask ourselves a very serious question. The main issue here is to look at our enemy and know what to do. We have said enough about how to prepare ourselves. And I want to also remind those of us who will be going back from different points, like those of you who will be going back to Abuja. It will be better you go through Anambra, which is from Awka to Enugu, then proceed. Because as of now, the Enugu Port Harcourt Express through Four Corner through Okigwe is still a no-go area. Another area to be looked upon is the area of Ejule through Kogi, entering Nsukka. Whoever is plying that road should be very, very careful, because the enemies are still laying siege. Like we reminded us before, if you're coming up from Enugu, you could pass through to Abakaliki, from Abakaliki downwards to connect Okigwe, and you proceed. Those of you who could connect through the Nguzu Owutu other axis through Amasri, that road right now is fair. Right now, that road is motorable. You could bust out at the Nguzu Junction, connecting the Onhafia, Abreba, Ibere to Mahia road axis. Then you proceed to Aba or wherever, either Owerri or wherever you might residing down at the southeast. While we do that, I want us to remember that our life is very important and worth saving. May we take this advice from those who have seen it all until we come again. Remain blessed for the new task ahead of us in this new year. May God bless us.
The more we fight together, 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 the more we fight together, and stronger we shall be. The more we fight together, 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 the more we fight together, and stronger we shall be.
Dear Biafrans, this is Rose Ama, and this is BCB, the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra. In the spirit of Allah, the Divine Mother, Goddess of Justice and the Law, Goddess of Morality, she who protects the land and those who walk on it, in the name of Amadioha, Kamalo, Ofufe, Divine One of the Skies, God of Justice, Creator God, and Consort of Divine Allah, I welcome you to this brand new year with a letter. In the name of our ancestors and all the gods of our land, new and ancient, I offer you peace. So let us consider this a love letter to Biafra and Biafrans. Dear Biafrans, my fellow Biafrans, I want us to begin by remembering that we are Biafrans and that our people stand for justice, equality, egalitarianism, progress, and fairness. We honor our lands, and yes, we are ancestor worshippers, even as we practice the foreign religion of Christianity that many of us have embraced. We cherish our ancestors, our history, and our customs. I want to begin this new year 2023 by sending you this love letter, and to honor us and to remind those who have forgotten us to remember who we are and why so many of us are still engaged in this struggle to restore Biafra. Why so many of us believe that we do have the right to live in peace and in our communities and to pursue our own progress without hindrance from the north or from within our own borders due to the orchestrated antics of those who have decided to side with the northern oligarchs and their foot soldiers, the Fulani herdsmen, to render our homeland unsustainable. I would have liked to join you in welcoming this brand new year with glee and pretend that things are well in our homeland, but that would be an illusion. The reality, however, is that things have fallen apart in our homeland. I recall the famous title of Chinua Achebe's novel, Things Fall Apart, taken from a few lines of the Irish poet and author W.B. Yeats, The Second Coming, as a sad reminder of how dire things have become in our homeland. Yes, listen to Yeats lament about the breaking apart of the world. I quote, "Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity." Unquote. The picture Yeats creates could almost be superimposed on our homeland. Indeed, we could easily say that Yeats's world of anarchy has now found a place in our homeland. Things have fallen apart so much in our communities that it seems as if we are peeling away from our center, from all that holds us together, our values, our respect for human life, our determination to survive, our own ingenuity and creativity, all those things that make us uniquely Biafrans. How did we get here? How did we lose ourselves? In this new year, Biafrans, this brand new year, I begin by reminding us that this will not be the first time our people have faced atrocities or confusion. This may probably not be the last time, but we must find our way back to ourselves, back to who we are, back to what holds us together, our commitment to preserving human life, our commitment to our people, our commitment to the preservation of our homeland, our commitment to all those values that make us human, the safeguarding of justice, respect for one another and for individual life. In fact, our respect for humanity. So, I urge you, Biafrans, at this moment, only a few days into this brand new year, consider this year as an opportunity to start again. Let us pause and reflect. Ask yourselves what you want to see in our future. What is your vision or wish for Biafra? Just before the end of 2022, BCB asked what wish Biafrans had for 2023, and a few people responded. One Biafran responded saying, quote, "My wish is that Biafrans celebrate their next Christmas and New Year 2024 in Biafra land, not in Nigeria," unquote. Another said, quote, "I wish we will just have this referendum on Biafra in 2023 so that Biafrans can go and progress on their own," unquote. Amen, amen, I say to that. Amen. So, what do you want for yourself and Biafra in 2023 or 2024 or in the future in general? What is your role in the struggle for Biafra restoration? Yes, some people might say they currently see nothing but human suffering, anger, violence everywhere. a lot of injustice everywhere, from the Nigerian federal government's atrocities against Biafrans to the massacres of our youth and destruction of our communities by the governors imposed on our people, the Fulani herdsmen rampaging through our communities, killing and raping our people, revenge killings and kidnapping, and even drug addiction among our youth. Yes, this is not the land we envisioned for ourselves. Yes, this is not the dream that we had of a beautiful land called Biafra. And yes, things have fallen apart. But many of us are standing firm, believing that there is hope, that together and with careful, consistent, and strategic hard work, we will achieve the dream of a restored and strong Biafra. So, my people, I wish you peace in solidarity, and for the love of Biafra, I am Rose Ama, and this is BCB, the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra. Dear Biafrans, this is Rose Ama. We close today by returning to Odumegwu Ojukwu's vision of Biafra that he described in his Christmas message in 1967. You might ask why we didn't read this message on Christmas Day 2022. We didn't because our message for Christmas 2022 featured a special message from the Prime Minister of the Biafra government in exile that addressed immediate issues in Biafra. We hope you listened to it, and if you didn't, we encourage you to do so. But Ojukwu's message is also important, and so we offer you his message because it belongs to us. And we hope that it will sustain us today as it sustained our people then. We return to history for inspiration and to remind us of why we are engaged in this struggle. Furthermore, Ojukwu's message on December 24th, 1967, shares our vision of a Republic of Biafra where we have peace and security for our people. And so, I offer you General C. Odumegwu Ojukwu's Christmas message on December 24th, 1967. And here it is. The Vision of Biafra. Christmas broadcast, December 24th, 1967. It is with the confident assurance of our triumph in this war that I send you this message of cheer and hope for this year's Yuletide. As I speak, my thoughts are one with our brave and gallant fighting forces, the standard bearers of our new republic in their various theaters of war. I salute them, heroes of Biafran revolution and independence, in the battlefields, in the skies, the high seas, where they are demonstrating an iron resolve to crush and conquer the enemies of our motherland. They are fighting to uphold the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Biafra. They are at war to safeguard our country, our beloved ones, our institutions, and noble heritage against a plunder that is most brutal, against a genocide that is total, against a tyranny that is monstrous, against the military imperialism of the Soviet Union, which enslaves, and above all, against the economic imperialism of a bankrupt Britain. I salute the 14 million virile and dynamic people of this republic who have given the government very solid moral and material support in the prosecution of the war to crush Nigerian aggression against Biafra. I also salute all countries, institutions, and individuals who have shown sympathy for and understanding of our cause. As bells of Christian churches all over the world proclaim the birth of Christ, the bells bring again to a world distressed a message of peace and goodwill, a message of hope and comfort to the afflicted, a message of faith in the goodness of God. Our young Republic of Biafra joins the rest of Christendom to celebrate Christmas, the birth of Christ, the hope and assurance of peace, freedom, and survival. It is the first Christmas that we in Biafra are celebrating as a sovereign nation, the birth of which 7 months ago was an occasion of hope, jubilation, and joy for all of us. Like the Jews of old, we saw in the birth of our young republic the gateway to freedom and survival for our people. We saw in it the birth of a society of justice, brotherhood, and peace among our people. But like Herod, Nigeria under its hateful, greedy, and bloodthirsty rulers was totally unhappy about the prospects of our freedom and sovereignty. Like Herod, Nigeria embarked upon an adventure of indiscriminate slaughter and destruction in order to kill the new nation and frustrate all the hope and promises ushered in by its birth. And like Herod, Nigeria has failed. Yet, I shudder to think that the leaders of the Christian world should watch in silence Nigeria's unprovoked war against Biafra in a devilish bid to complete the genocide which she began last year. I also shudder to think that the leaders of the Christian church, particularly in Europe and America, should stand dumb and silent while the war machines of Britain and of a godless Soviet Union are allowed to destroy our civilian institutions, and with their warplanes slaughter innocent men, women, and children in their homes, in hospitals, and even in places of worship. 7 months ago, a new nation state was born in Africa. For 6 months, she has been engaged in a war forced upon her by Nigerian vandals. Grim as the struggle has been, a victory over the enemy is assured, though not yet complete. Biafra is bound to survive with all the promises and hope she brought to us at her birth on May 30th this year. In spite of initial handicaps, our brave and gallant forces on land, air, and sea have not only held their own, but are giving the enemy exactly what they deserve. The initiative has now passed permanently into our hands. The daily toll on enemy lives has been heavy and sometimes staggering. That the enemy has not called off their aggression in the face of their heavy losses in human lives is another evidence of their utter disregard for those lives. Our sympathy goes to those unfortunate wives, the innocent and common people of Western Nigeria and Lagos, whose children are daily lured to destruction in a war which they neither understand nor have faith in. We have destroyed the enemy in Bonny and liberated that ancient and historic island. The remnants of the enemy in the Enugu sector are being systematically destroyed. The same is true of the Nkalagu sector. In the Ogoja sector, our advances and successes have been steady and consistent. In the Calabar sector, the enemy is being starved to death. To the discomfiture of our enemy, the world is beginning to see the justness of our cause. Many who were skeptical of our resolve or even our will and ability to defend our sovereignty at all costs have now begun to think again. The resourcefulness of our men, particularly of our scientists who are daily turning out effective defensive weapons, has been a baffle, and the complete willingness of our people to suffer and sacrifice a marvel to all. The gallantry, valor, and achievements of our military commanders and men have astounded our foes and heartened our friends. What are the secrets? What is the driving force behind our successes and resolve? First and foremost, it is the absolute faith of our people in our young republic and what it represents. There is the realization by all that survival lies in the defeat of the enemy and the maintenance of our sovereignty. There is the universal feeling of wrong by our people. There is the insult of the enemy's naked aggression in an effort to destroy us in our own homes, as they had done elsewhere. There is man's first instinct of self-preservation. All these have made our people absolutely one and determined in this struggle. It is this which has created the solidarity amongst us and frustrated and foiled the efforts of the enemy, who, coming face to face with inevitable military defeat, resorted to subtle attempts to subvert our government and cause dissensions among our determined people. We are a peaceful people. We love and cherish peace and would like to see an end to this conflict with all its loss and destruction. But the initiative for ending this war must come from those who unleashed it. Let those who started the war stop it. Born out of the gruesome murders and vandalism of yesterday, Biafra has come to stay as a historical reality. We believe that the future we face and our battle for survival cannot be won by bullets alone, but by brain power, modern skills, and the determination to live and survive and succeed. Proud and courageous Biafrans, I see the birth of a new Biafran society out of the carnage and wreckage of the war. I see a new breed of men and women with new moral and spiritual values, building a new society, a renaissance and strong Biafra. I see the realization of all our cherished dreams and aspirations in a revolution which will not only guarantee our basic freedoms, but usher in an era of equal opportunity and prosperity for all. I see the evolution of a new democracy in Biafra as we advance as partners in our country's onward march to her destiny. When I look into the future, I see Biafra transformed into a fully industrialized nation, wastelands and slums giving way to thriving industrial centers and cities. I see towns replanted and relocated in harmony with their surroundings. I see agriculture mechanized by science and technology, which have already made their mark in the present war. I see a republic knit with arteries of roads and highways, a nation of free men and women dedicated to the noble attributes of justice and liberty for which our youth have shed their blood. A people with an art and literature rich and unrivaled. I am sure all Biafrans on this Christmas Day share these hopes for our country's future and destiny. In spite of the trials of the war, we must remember that Christmas is in essence a children's festival. We must therefore ensure that this is for them a happy and truly Christian Christmas. A happy and cheerful Christmas to you all, fellow citizens. We shall vanquish. Amazing, truly amazing. This is a broadcast for Christmas from Ojukwu. And even though it is for Christmas, it is forward-looking. It's a vision of what Biafra should have been and can be. It is the same vision that we share today. It is the same vision that we are fighting to restore. One in which we are not enslaved. One in which we stand for truth and justice. I am reminded of the war song that we were singing as children, cheering us on. Eastern region stands for truth and justice evermore. We shall never be enslaved, nor shall we bow to North. Whatever the result, we shall stand defending the East, for we shall never be vanquished. And so, solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For we shall never be vanquished. Ojukwu has said it all. And Ojukwu has given us a vision. It is achievable if we pull ourselves together. It is achievable. We just have to work for it. We just have to return to ourselves to remember who we are. We are Biafrans. And so, my people, I wish you peace. The message is a Christmas message, but it lives beyond Christmas. And in solidarity and love for you, Biafrans, and for Biafra, for our homeland. Peace. This is Rosama. I welcome you into this brand new year. And this is BCB, the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra. We hope you'll join us in the future, listen to our broadcasts, like us on Facebook and on YouTube. Please share our program with friends. We will, as we leave, I want to remind you, as the PM indicated earlier, that we will have a special State of the Nation address from the Prime Minister of the Biafra government in exile in our next broadcast, scheduled for January 15th to coincide with the formal day of armistice or ending of the war. It will be in remembrance of the ending of that genocidal war that cost Biafrans 3 million plus lives. We hope you'll join us then. And until then, this is Rosama again. Peace, and let's get wiser. And this is BCB, the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra.
Rising soul, hey, rising soul, yeah. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Believe it or leave it, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. We've been crying, the world claim not to hear. And we've been lamenting, the world claim not to hear. Our tears flow, the world claim not to see. And our blood flow, the world claim not to see. This is a crime, oh no, against humanity, oh no, yeah, this is a crime. Eritrea spoke up, they were given independence. South Sudan spoke, they were given independence. Namibia spoke up, they were given independence. Give me the reason my people got to be neglected. Give me the reason my people got to be rejected. Give me the reason our freedom got to be a crime. Give me the reason our own freedom got to be denied. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. I tell you what, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Believe it or leave it. Oh no. Whoa.
Thank you for listening to us today. Join us next time for news, cultural, and educational programs. This is the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, BCB.